So another month and another DC animated movie, and today I am here with my review for you for the new animated Justice League movie, WARWORLD. Is this film any good? Let's find out. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this here movie review. It seems like not a month goes by and we get a new animated DC movie. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? We're going to explore that right here. But today, before that, we're going to talk about WARWORLD, the new Justice League animated movie coming at us, running just shy of 90 minutes, directed by Jeff Warminster, and written by Jeremy Adams, Ernie Altbacker and Josie Campbell. Yeah, I was looking forward to this one. It looked intriguing. It looked interesting. I can't tell you if it's based upon a graphic novel or not. I haven't read it if it is, or a story within the canon of DC Universe comics. But basically, this film here finds the trio, the Justice League trio, Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, on a world where they are living different lives and being pitted against different things and fighting and all this sort of a thing. And this film here is split. It's split into about 4 components, in that the first 22 minutes of this film is a Western era set adventure with solely Wonder Woman as the main character. We are also given Jonah Hex within this story. He plays a villainous role, and she has to save this young girl, and you know, there's these 2 rival gangs, all that sort of a thing going on, shooting guns, and she sort of saves the day and has to ride off into the sunset. And after the 22 minutes we are then indulge in a Batman-esque story which is set in this barbarian land, and Batman has to go on this quest with these other individuals that he meets to essentially go and kill this wizard. Along route he does bump into Diana, Wonder Woman, in another guise. She's a prisoner for this fella, this wizard. But it turns out that Batman's actually working for the wizard. He's actually been used by the wizard to go and bring these people to him, essentially give them a story, feed them a story to bring them to him so that the wizard can dispatch of these individuals. And obviously they end up fighting. Batman ends up taking the side of Wonder Woman until the end. And again, this goes on for about 25 minutes. The wizard is Demos. And it goes on for about 25 minutes, and then we're introduced to a black and white sort of 1950s era concept of Superman, and in which Superman is Agent Ken. He's essentially working for this Men in Black kind of organisation. There's been this crash site, this alien spacecraft has crashed from outer space. They have to go into this diner. He's introduced to Batman, but Batman is actually Officer Wayne, Highway Patrol. And it kind of plays on the sort of paranoia of the 1950s and the space race and the Soviets and all this sort of a thing. Princess Diana Prince is introduced into it, sorry. Wonder Woman, she's there as a sort of secretary who's in the diner. And then it leads to aliens, people turning into aliens, Geezer getting his neck snapped and turning into this alien, and a car chase and all this sort of a thing. And that goes on for about 15 minutes until they step through this big, it looks like a downed spaceship, and at which point, once they step through, everything turns to colour. And this is where they together, the 3 of them are in WARWORLD, and their memories start to come back, and we come to find out that the Martian Manhunter is there as a prisoner. His mind's being used, that WARWORLD has got people captured like Jonah Hex and that, and cloning people from them, but keeping the main one alive to keep cloning from and pump them out into WARWORLD for these scenarios and all this sort of a thing. And Mongol is the main villain here, introduced at this point. We're given Lobo as well, who's kind of working for Mongol, but then has a turnaround. But does he? Because the Martian Manhunter has basically used his mind to tell him what to do and all this sort of a thing. And it's this final bit, which is the battle where the heroes, the three main heroes of the Justice League, kind of get their memories back and have to go in battle and save the day. And the film kind of ends on a cliffhanger with the sort of promise of something bigger is coming and all this sort of a thing. So that's the story for the film. Now, the voice cast for this includes Jensen Ackles returning as Batman, Stana Katis as Wonder Woman, Darren Criss as Superman. We've also got other quite well-known actors like Frank Grillo voicing Troy Baker, Brett Dalton, who was in the first couple of seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all voicing different characters. So does this film work or doesn't it? Now, like I said, the DC are pumping these animated films out 10 to the dozen now. They're non-stop. They're so frequent, and I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, because certainly less is more at times. You know, they're oversaturating, and they're not learning from their mistakes. DC are not learning from what they've done on TV with the CW, in film, what Marvel's done in film and on Disney Plus. Just so much content being ramped out. Now, my biggest issue with this is the familiarity, or the similarity, I should say, that this has with the previous film, Justice League and Ruby, and that we're given a film that's essentially a part one, that all the way through you're sort of questioning, what's going on? What's happening? You get your answers towards the end, but then it's left open for a sequel to follow. And this does exactly the same thing. It follows exactly the same plan, that all the way through you're questioning what's going on, why is this happening? And it's not until the three stories converge and the characters converge that you get your answers, but then it ends with the promise of a continuation, essentially. So we're now been given two films on the trot with the promise of a continuation, and this is where the problem lies, that they're not finishing one project before another project comes along, and it's counterintuitive to one another. It's impacting upon my enjoyment for these projects. But as this project goes, you know, the animation itself was fine. It's akin to like Superman Man of Tomorrow, the thick black lines and that sort of a thing. So the animation worked. The black and white segment is the best segment of the three WARWORLD segments, with I'd say the Wonder Woman Wild West story coming in second, but the black and white really worked for it, and worked for Superman, because, you know, he came about in those sort of eras, and the early Supermans on TV were in black and white, so they kind of work for the character and Clark Kent, even in this guise, and it's the most appealing part of it. It's a shame that element didn't go on longer. But ultimately, this is the kind of film that you can sit there, you can easily just be on your phone, and it's more of a background noise kind of a thing going on, because you don't really know what's going on. You know, and it feels like the first three segments felt like, especially when the first one was 22 minutes, it felt akin to a standalone cartoon. And then you're given another standalone cartoon, and then another standalone cartoon, that then it combined. You get your answers in the fourth part of the film. It was enjoyable enough, but, you know, the problem is like I said, too much of it at once coming out, and not finishing off what's come before, and this is harming this entire property of these animated cartoons at the moment, which is truly a shame. But as a standalone piece, you know, I've seen far worse. It was better than Batman Doom That Came to Gotham. It's better than the Ruby one. I'll say that. It's not bad. It's got some fantastic elements to it, some enjoyable voice performances. It is R-rated, or 15 rated it will be here in the UK. There is blood, in it. Not overly gory or anything like that. There is some profanity used within the context of the story, characters, primarily from Lobo, but again, nothing too shocking or anything like that. Very mild, very tame. But yeah, you know, it was okay. It was okay, middle of the road, kind of a DC animated film for me. And there you go, there's my thoughts on it, my review for it. Once you've seen it, let me know your thoughts, whether you enjoy it, whether you didn't. I'll be intrigued to know. And I'll see you all later. Hit the subscribe button, come join the channel for more like this. See you soon.